Hello and good evening, everyone. I want to welcome you back to the Proud Warriors of Kronos. I know it's been a minute, but we have a special treat. This young lady has been instrumental in my Klingon education. Of course, the music is what drew me in first. We have the Klingon Pop Warrior. And I I love having you on the show. It's such a thrill because again, when I was finding my way into the Klingon world, I found your video, and that's what started it for me. Then I went and downloaded the album, and every time you were dropping something, I would pick it up so I could listen to it, and I just loved it. And then when you were on the show, you were telling us how you were part of Prodigy. So, and then of course you were getting ready to go into your next season, and you couldn't say much about what was going on, and we were all excited. So glad to have you back. Yeah. I got some of our Star Trek favorites with us today, but please tell us about what's going on in your world with the music, because I know you're dropping another song or video. And then, of course, tell us about Prodigy.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. I could talk about the music part like all night right now. I I just released a new song. You can get it on Bandcamp. You can get it on Spot. You can hear it on Spotify. You can find it on all the things. It's called Cha Cha Cha, and it's actually a translation of I love Eurovision. I've followed Eurovision off and on. And this year I was not really following it, but I ended up watching Eurovision this year with some friends, and this guy, he was the contestant from Finland. Sorry, oh my God, Sweden won, but he was a contestant from Finland. His name is Kadia, and his song just completely captivated me. He kind of captivated me, and he came in second, but he was the people's favorite. He actually won the popular vote by the second biggest margin in Eurovision history. But there's a jury and popular vote, and the jury votes all went to Sweden for the most part. And so he ended up coming in second place, and it broke a lot of people's hearts, and it broke his as well. And he's just a delightful human being. And when I heard Cha Cha Cha, it's this really random song. It's got elements of, it's metal and hip hop and EDM and pop, and like it's just everything sort of married into this one song. And the word cha in Klingon is the plural for torpedoes. So peng, a lot of people know peng is the singular for torpedo, but cha is the plural for torpedoes. And so I was like, this song needs to be in Klingon. So I translated, and it was really a labor of love. I made a little music video for it and everything. It's the first time I've really done something kind of topical, as far as like getting a song released so quickly. And we went into the recording studio within a few weeks of Eurovision, and recorded it and got it mixed and out into the world. Eurovision happened in mid-May. And so it's a big it's an international songwriting competition, Eurovision is, but it's across all of Europe, and the whole concept of it was to unite Europe with music. And everybody got united behind Kadia, and and unfortunately he didn't win, but I think he's going to be just fine. He's touring now, and I swear to God, I'm going to if it is within my power to do so, I am going to either go see a show in Finland next year, or I am going to get my ass to Europe if he's doing a European tour, and I'm going to try to go figure out what cities he's going to be in, and if I can do like a 1 or 2 week tour of Europe, around Europe, and sort of go see a couple shows. I'm gonna freaking do it, because I'm so smitten by this guy artistically, and just he's so great. And so yeah, so that's my music story right now. Cha Cha Cha. It's very fun. We did an all acoustic arrangement of this like crazy song, and yeah, it really kind of goes back to the original Pop Warrior roots. And so yeah, I could talk about Kaudia all day long. He's my current like hyper fixation, and I just this song is just I really love it. It was very much a labor of love. I'm giving away all the proceeds to charities, so if you buy it on Bandcamp, if you stream it, it's all the money's going to go to Children's Miracle Network. So yeah, it was just it was a labor of love for this one. And just I was really having kind of a rough start to the year, and I kind of went through like where I was just really burned out, and like that song just kind of like lit that little fire back under my butt and like reminded me why I like to perform. And so yeah, so it's a little personal, and it's very funny. The original song is about being like having a really crap day, and so like the first half is like this like really dark like metal kind of thing, and so it's like about having a really terrible day. And all you want to do is like go to the bar and have a drink, and like just that get enough liquid courage to like shake out your troubles on the dance floor. And then there's this huge tonal shift in the song where it becomes like this like EDM poppy happy thing, and it's the like now I'm out on the dance floor and I'm having a good time and I'm having a party. And so the Klingon translation follows that same trajectory, but in the case of a Klingon, to like make it relatable, I have a really terrible captain, and he's not engaging our enemies in a way that satisfies me, and I have completely lost like all trust and faith in my captain. So I basically challenge him to ritual combat, and then take control of the ship so that I can fire the torpedoes. And the song, the original song, it's about like, now I'm out on the dance floor and I'm going to have and nothing's going to bother me anymore. And I'm going to dance like a cha-cha-cha. And then, by the end of the night, I'm going to be pouring champagne all over myself. So in the case of this one, when I achieve victory, I'll pour blood wine all over myself, and it's going to be a great time. And I actually did, like when I shot the music video, I poured wine all over myself. That wig may never be the same again, but I'm going to wear it. And I think I got it rinsed out. And yeah, so I did a little music video for it with the lyrics and everything that's up on my YouTube channel. And I kind of threw myself into that song. So I've already talked too much about it, and I apologize.
No, it sounds pretty, inspiring.
I love it.
I'm going to go to Spotify, and I'm going to put the link so everyone can, listen to the song from, put your link to the pages so they can actually listen to the song off of Spotify.
It's so fun. I'm so proud of it. And I love I put the video's up on my TikTok page, and on TikTok, and it's also on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. So, and you can stream it on Spotify, YouTube Music, iTunes, like whatever your poison is, you should be able to find it. So with all my other stuff. So
all right, guys, ask her some questions before we get really started. I know there's some questions out there. Go ahead, Marky Mark.
I didn't want to go first, but thank you. I was just wanted to know, how long does it normally take you to translate songs? I know you said it once before, but just in general, that song, when you did this, you said you were in production within, a few weeks. Is that normal when you're doing this, or is that, above average?
That was, yeah, no, producing, like, I've never really produced a single song quite like this before. In the past, I've either had the translations already, and then we workshop them, and then I'm at conventions, I'm performing them, things like that. And but with this song, when I translate it, I can typically translate a song in like 2 to 4 hours, depending. It's the musical arranging and things like that end up taking time. We put a lot of thought and time and just care kind of go into the arrangements. It's always been super important to me that it sounds good, that that it's paying homage to the original, but it's, culturally a little, feels a little bit, feels more Klingon. I like to sing. I can sing. And so, and I work with some just absolutely incredible musicians. So it really just comes down to timing and who is available, and, do we have the time to do it? So in the past, I've done sort of like, full like 5-6 song EPs, we've rehearsed them, and then we go in, we record everything. Maybe we're recording one at a time, but we have a plan. And with this, it just really was like, I'm like, I want to do this song. And I reached out to my buddy Joe, who produced like all of my second EP, Fierce songs. And I knew that he wouldn't want to record it the way that we recorded that EP. So I reached out to a couple guys one that Joe had worked with to see if he had any availability, a sound engineer and recording studio. He wasn't available, but then so I reached out to one of my other friends who has a recording studio nearby and was like, hey, what kind of availability do you have, and how quick can we get in? So that we were able to get into the studio, and we basically like reserved a whole day, and we went in for 5.5 hours, and we knocked it out. We probably could have finished it faster, but my one friend couldn't join us until a little bit later. So but it was good because we really got to have some time to like think about it, and we did rehearse. Like we had one rehearsal with Joe and I where we got together and we kind of hashed out the arrangement, and then I took a quick video recording of it and grabbed the sound from it and sent it to my friend River, who plays drums, and she does like tribal drumming. So she played the djembe on the track, and so it was just acoustic guitar, djembe, and vocals. And we all were shouting cha 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 in the background, and yeah, so it like all said and done, I think the translation took a couple hours. I had another friend who helped me with it. So when I got the base translation down, and then I was looking for some help, and it happened to turn out that one of the guys from the Klingon Language Institute, he's from Canada, but he's traveled a lot and he loves Eurovision. And so he was so excited that I was doing the song. So I was like, well, let me share my translation with you. And, he's really good with the language also. And so I was like, and maybe you can help me, because when I like dash off lyrics, like I make a lot of mistakes on the first pass, and like I'll change my mind on things, and I'll forget to like fix a prefix or add a suffix, because I'm like kind of thinking as I'm like translating and just like trying to move really quickly and not second guess myself too much with the concept. And then like I'll change my mind and be like, well, no, instead of this, I want to say this instead, or this is a better way to word it. One of the really great things about bringing Michael in is he really helped. He helped get he helped get us to this point where we actually had like, we were able to rhyme things, which doesn't happen super often when I'm translating in Klingon. Like, and I had managed to get like one section of it rhyming. He like managed to get this other part as well. And so like it worked really, really well. It was really fun to collaborate on it. And I gave him co-credit on the song, because he had some really great ideas and just really helped me like tie certain things together. And so, yeah, between the two of us, we had a really solid translation. I don't know. That was a long answer, but.
Well, I put your link for the bandcamp.com track. It's right there. It's also in the description in the comments, so you guys can check it out. I'll also be putting it on the pages.
And there's there's so many fun little, like, I honestly, like, if you get the chance to go and watch like the original Finnish video, not even the music video necessarily, but the live, I would say look for the live performance of that he did for, it's called UMK, which for Eurovision, each country submits an entry. So there's finals within each country. It's almost like the Olympics of songwriting. So like the countries all have their qualifier for who is going to go and represent them at Eurovision. And his performance is it's so unhinged and so weird, and just so very goofy and fun, and and so when I did the music video, and like there's a lot of like little nods to some of the choreography, some of the things that he does in the live performance, like even the way some of the things that we did vocally, I tried really hard to like give these little like nods to things that he did vocally, or things that like when people are watching him live and you see like concert footage, there's things that like the audience does. And like, so there were things that we did with like the cha-cha-chas, and there's this moment where everybody goes, whoa. And so like all three of us were like, whoa, which "wo" means empire in Klingon. So it actually has like a little bit of meaning to it. Instead of just being like a random like exclamation, it actually has meaning. So yeah, so like there's lots of little nods to it, and so like yeah, he's delightful. This guy's just such a great human being. Like just go give him all the likes and follows and shares, because he's just great. And his other stuff is freaking bangers too. Like honestly, I was floored. I don't think he's gonna be a one hit wonder, which is really delightful. And all his shit's in Finnish. I don't even speak Finnish. I don't care. And I don't even care that I don't speak Finnish. Like I'm learning Finnish. It's actually very grammatically similar to Klingon. So now I'm like, oh, I really want to learn Finnish. I'm telling you, rabbit hole far down there.
Katala, do you have a question?
No question per se. I love the video, I love the song, and I think I'm 2.5 years into Duolingo now, so working on it. I can understand it better than I can speak it.
Yeah, that's half the battle though, really. I've been slogging away. I'm on a pretty good streak with Duolingo. I think I'm closing in on a 50-day Duolingo streak. So, but I started doing it years ago, and then like every like 4 months I'll be like, oh yeah, I should go back to Duolingo. And
Yes.
now I'm actually sticking with it because I'm doing Finnish on there too.
Wow.
So I am actually like being pretty good about logging in every day.
You going to be in anywhere near on the East Coast for any conventions?
Not yet. I say yet. So actually this week, I'm driving down to Springfield, Missouri for Tremendicon, which I'm really excited about. It's a creator-focused convention. So the whole purpose of the convention is creators. And so I'm actually going to get to do stuff and like talk about things that, normally I'm kind of very Star Trek and Klingon focused. But I'm going to get to talk about all kinds of stuff and be on panels for all kinds of really cool things. So like I am doing a beginner Klingon panel. I'm going to be doing a Klingon story hour where I actually read baby's first Klingon, and I'm going to be teaching a bunch of kids Klingon, which I'm excited about. But then I'm also going to be doing a panel about crowdfunding. I'm going to be on a panel about streaming and streaming video games and gaming and streaming and stuff like that. And I'm going to be doing a panel on what was the other one? It's just I get to talk about other things that get me excited. I can't remember all my panels off the top of my head. It's terrible. But I'm going to be running a Klingon karaoke. I'm going to be doing a cosplay karaoke night. And then there's a Tremenda prom. So I'll be doing a couple of like little short performances during Tremenda prom. So yeah, if you're in the Springfield, Missouri area, like if you're not, like, but you can, you're in a reasonable drive. I think it's going to be a really fun convention because it's all people who are, going to be teaching, and it's all about learning and sharing your hard-won knowledge with other people who are interested in the things you are. I'm hoping I meet some other musicians. Maybe I can get some like more collaborations and stuff like that. Like I'm excited. I'm excited to go meet new
We should
people.
do a
It's
Klingon karaoke on Proud Warriors.
ah,
Invite you back. You can lead us in song.
it's really hard to do. It really is hard to do karaoke on like, yeah.
We have a question from a viewer.
Oh,
She says that what advice would you give to females upcoming that want to I guess cosplay and try to do what you're basically doing as a Klingon?
you know, I really fell super kind of into it. I tripped and stumbled into cosplay, and I was an actor who got a gig. So really I think with anything, it's about being respectful of the people who are, around you, asking questions. Um, you know, it's if you don't have if you're interested in actually performing, like I don't know if that's the question, if it's just like getting into cosplay. Is there a little bit more information there?
I think it was just the whole aspect of it, coming out there doing, just being Klingon, being proud to be because let's face it, it's kind of male dominated.
Sure.
And now that you guys are coming out, especially like you're kind of breaking the mold. You know what I mean? You're on stage, you're gaming, and you're doing it all in your cosplay, and now you're doing panels where you're actually teaching Klingon and teaching people about how to do their streams and everything else. So this was a lady from Missouri that asked the question, actually.
Yeah, so if you're talking about cosplaying Klingon, I would say first of all, go for it, and not to be intimidated by some of the male cosplayers. I think Klingon cosplay has had a pretty bad reputation in the past, and so I don't know how to be delicate about it. It's been, I'm just gonna say it's been borderline racist at times, with the way that white people have cosplayed it. So I would say, first of all, get ridges that match your skin tone 100%, please. And you do not have to, that's like the one thing that I always will say to tell people. They cast black actors, and if you are not black, don't darken your skin. Don't do it. Please don't fucking do it.
Look, my first convention back in the early 90s, there was this dark-skinned African-American guy, and he had a white forehead, and I stopped and I looked at him. I'm like, "What are you doing?"
It's like,
dude, what are you doing? I mean, he had the long hair, but it was, you know what I mean.
But also blessed that it wasn't the reversal, because the number. Yeah, like,
but it just struck me funny because I was like, I know you could have had the makeup and stuff, and because like we have a guy named Fred Nurk, and he has a nice prosthetic pieces and the paints and everything else, to do, like you said, to blend in.
Right.
I mean, I would always figure that you would want that process anyway.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm always like, I always end up just like a little bit horrified. So like, the first thing, and then there are lots of people, there's lots of people out there who are making prosthetics, but you don't have to have a fancy prosthetic either. You can do a lot with just makeup, and creating an illusion with makeup and paint and just shadow and highlight is the same way that you would normally do if you do I would look at like theater makeup classes, or YouTube videos and things like that, look at all of the techniques that people use to do old age makeup, apply to creating fake ridges on your forehead. It's just a different play. Like you just might be like shadowing or painting in the lines differently. So that's one way you can do it. There are lots of people online who make prosthetics, so you don't have to, because it's not easy, and I buy mine. I buy mine from a guy named Kolb's Kling Things. He's got an Etsy shop, Bill Hedrick. And he's really easy to work with too. You can shoot him an email or send him a message, and like if you think you're going to want more than one. The reason that I like his are because like I specifically buy the ones that are hard latex, because they're more durable and they last longer. And when you use, there's foam latex, which is very breathable and much more comfortable, but it's also a lot more delicate. So you have to be a lot more careful with it. So, and you're not going to get quite as many uses out of it as you might get it, with the hard latex. Hard latex is sweaty. So, be prepared to sweat a little bit. But you also, the other thing to think about too is like screen accurate versus not. You don't have to go screen accurate. Like, find your look as a warrior. Give the nods to the things like the fur sleeves or the chain, like the chainmail look, or the basket weaving and stuff like that. Like you can really like find ways to create your own aesthetic, your own Klingon aesthetic. Like I try really hard to like not go screen accurate because I am a Kronos rock star. So like, but I'm a Kronos rock star, and so but I still am a warrior. So I want to look good. I want to look a little sassy, but I still have to be able to kick some butt while I'm doing it. So I still need to have my legs free, and I'm still going to be wearing like some big boots and and so it's like I have, I've got like combat boots, and I wear those combat boots. It doesn't matter if I'm wearing something kind of cute on top. I'm still wearing my combat boots because I'm going to like come in and mess you up if I have to. And so, yeah, like finding those things, and those are always great. There's a lot of really fun things. You can go on just Amazon and find some really great costume pieces, like bracers and stuff like that. And yeah, I would just say just go for it, because it's fun, and you don't get anywhere by being shy and like holding yourself back. And life is way too short to not do what's going to bring you joy and make you happy. And, for me, it's singing my stupid pop songs in Klingon. And, and I've gotten my share of, idiots on the internet who don't like what I'm doing, and I've gotten like my fair share of criticism, and but the people who matter have found it, and and the rest, I'm old, so like I'm 46, and so like there's some hard freaking won lessons. I'm not like old, but like I'm old, I'm not young, and there's been some hard lessons in there, and so yeah, I think I have a lot of faith and hope in kids these days, because they seem to have pretty good heads on their shoulders, and they seem to be a little bit more aware and cognizant of everyone around them, but also like they're so supportive. It's amazing to me. It's like, it's just that like, yes, queen, go king. Like they are in it and they will they're like, the kids out there now are just some of the best cheerleaders. So be your own cheerleader if you can't find somebody else to do it. But let me tell you, there's a lot of people out there who will cheer you on. I don't know if that answered the question, but
no, I think it Question?
Be Klingon. That's the great thing about being Klingon. The motto is freaking Cher Lumech Kak Jajvam. Today is a good day to die. You ain't got time to waste wondering if you should do the thing. Just do the thing. Just do it. Just do it.
Yes. Well, the most proudest thing a Klingon can declare is to say that he is Klingon amongst Klingons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, just get out there and do the thing. Like, it's, because tomorrow, like, if you worry too much, I do a whole thing about Klingon mindfulness. I have like a whole Klingon mindfulness thing that me and one of my friends created. And like, yeah, it's all stuff like, be the reason that your enemies wake up afraid. Like these are the things that a Klingon are meditating on. Your worth isn't based in a Ferengi sense of profit. You descend from Kalis. Honor and glory are all the currency you need. So
definitely. I like that though. That is that only like your YouTube channel or?
No, honestly, it started as a joke. And I do them with I have them as a redemption for channel points when I stream, and then I have a on my Discord server I've got a channel that's just dedicated to Klingon mindfulness and all of the Klingon mindfulness things. I make little like Instagrammable like little like images with the like phrase on it, and then like like a sky or a nebula. Like so that's like those cheesy things that you see on like some influencer's blog, but it's like Klingon mindfulness. Freedom comes from focusing only on honor. Like
oh, we got Jack joining us.
All right, what's happening?
Hey, Jack.
Just got a shower and put some clothes on. I don't think y'all like me coming in here commando.
So, Jack, this is the Klingon Pop Warrior. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with her work.
Yes, sir, I am.
All right. So I wanted to get you in here too to share this because
honored to see you.
Yes. So you were telling us about some stuff that you couldn't tell us about because we're going into season 2 on Prodigy, and you were under your the MBA.
And now Prodigy season 2 is not coming out.
Yes. Oh, wait a minute! It's not coming out. I thought it was just canceled. I thought they're not even going to release season 2.
No. So hashtag Save Star Trek Prodigy is the thing of the day right now. Not only did Paramount Plus, not only did they renewed it for a second season. It was renewed, and they are almost done with the post-production. It's like they've been spending the last year laboring under the assumption that we had a second season of the show. And it's almost done. And they not only did they cancel it, they announced it, and less than a week later, it was completely gone from Paramount Plus. So you can't even watch it on Paramount Plus anymore. You can't watch the first season. And worse than that, they only released the first 10 episodes on Blu-ray. So you can only buy on Blu-ray the first 10 episodes. Now, I think you can buy the whole season on like Amazon Prime. Like if you've got Amazon and you stream that way, I believe you can buy like the streaming, the whole season, if it's from a streaming service that you would purchase your stuff from. But
this makes no sense. I mean, why don't they want to put the DVD out? If people want to buy it, it's making money, right?
Well, and that's just it. They said that it was a show that was underperforming. Another show that got canceled that I loved at the same time was Rise of the Pink Ladies, which was so much fun. It was a great a great little show. It was like it was Grease, but it was like how the Pink Ladies were formed. And it was a musical, and it was delightful, and they really did a good job of not shying away from hard topics despite being a, you know, kind of a fun musical. And so that was another thing that got canceled. And honestly, they think that it's the same thing that Disney Plus did with like Willow and some of the shows over there, where they're basically using them as a tax write-off. They said they're losing money and they're canceling them and they're just writing it off. But there's Prodigy was winning all kinds of awards and is continuing to win awards and is continuing to be nominated for things. And it was an entry point for kids, but it was really fun to watch as an adult too. And, you know, it was beautifully animated. There was so much care given to it and the storytelling. And so, you know, everybody involved that I met throughout the process just freaking loved Star Trek. They love Star Trek. And they're like, Aaron Weltke is like a freaking walking encyclopedia of Star Trek. He's amazing. He is one of the head writers and producers. And so, like, everybody just loved everybody involved loved it and loved being a part of it. So the big thing right now is that, you know, dollars do speak. And if you don't have the money to spend, there's the petition going, and you can, you know, keep the momentum going on social media and things like that, because people are noticing. And, you know, I went and I bought 4 of every action figure. You can get the action figures from Target. They have got them in a couple boxes over there. I'm going to keep one set for myself. I'm going to donate a set, at least one set, and then I'm going to hang on to the other 2 sets and see if I can make my money back. But it's, you know, there's so many, there's things like that. You go and buy it, like buy it on Amazon, buy the DVD, you know, buy the Blu-ray if you can, even if it's just the first 10 episodes. They're not even going to release the second 10 episodes on Blu-ray at this point. They're, you know, so it's just, it sucks. It needs a new home. But what's great is that all of the push that has been made right now by the fans, they're selling out of Blu-rays. They're starting to sell out of action figures. Like these are all things that are happening, and those dollars speak volumes and make the show really attractive to be picked up by another service. So we all have a lot of hope, because they have the second season's basically done. So, like, not only can somebody come and pick it up, but they've got 2 whole seasons of the show. If they do, they don't even have to, at this point, like, foot the bill.
Hey, as soon as my wife says okay, I'll buy it.
Yeah, it's definitely.
She's the boss, so I have to go what she says. But yeah, she knows what I want.
But yeah,
Star Trek, I buy all Star Trek stuff.
Keep it positive, and yeah. That's the way to do it, is just keep it positive, you know, like don't go on I mean, I love profanity as much as the next person, but like, don't, you know, get out there on social media and keep the positive pressure up and keep it out there. Like, remind people that, you know, they did this and it sucks. So I can't talk about what I did for season 2 yet. And it sucks. But there was a tweet from the Hagman brothers, who are the main producers, they were the big producers for it, and they were like, they I don't know if it was a joke or not. They said they were gonna do like staged readings of season 2 at Star Trek Las Vegas, and Bonnie Gordon, who is the voice of the ship computer, said that she was going to be doing all the stage directions as the voice of the ship computer. And I tell you what, if that happens and I am allowed to talk about what I did, I will be like screaming it from the rooftops, because I got to do something really cool for season 2. I got to treat it so. So yeah, but I still can't talk about season 2. Season 1 I can talk all about, but I can't talk about season 2. I was this close to meeting David Diggs. So close. I was like 5 minutes on a Zoom call away from getting to meet David Diggs. It's like, damn it. No, you really, you don't need me to stick around for like 5 more minutes?
Do you know how many episodes were made for season 2?
I think it was the same. I think it was 20.
Okay.
I think it was like a full. Yeah.
Man, that's just, that's the only. I mean, I get it, because the studios have to recover losses and everything else, but when they start taking away good shows because they have this super expectation that it should have made X amount of stuff, I think Prodigy was one of those shows that we had a guy in our other group on the 757 Geeks fandoms. We call him Big L. And he was like, as a Trek fan, you got to see this show. I know it's for kids, but just watch it. And I fell in love with it. I was watching it. I really enjoyed that show.
The first half of the season was so good at setting everything up. And then the second half just like slammed it home. It was, these kids just living the ideals of Starfleet and yet having no real concept of what Starfleet is. It was such good storytelling. Such good storytelling.
So there's Klingons in it, right?
There are some Klingons in it, yes.
Yeah, well then I'll buy it then. I'll buy it.
It's not a lot. But there is some Klingon language in there, and there are some Klingons that show up. So
that's all I need, Klingons.
So
a lot of times I only watch because of Klingons. The rest of them can kiss off because sorry, I'm biased, but.
So you have a question from Simon Knack, who which came first, your love for music or Star Trek Klingons?
Oh, music. Absolutely music. My parents said I was singing before I could talk. I was actually just having this conversation on a chat with some folks. I come from a pretty musical family, actually. My dad worked in recording studios when he was younger. My brother, he plays guitar, loves the blues. We're from Chicago. Blues are big in our house. And just classic rock in general. My 2 younger brothers both play instruments. My youngest brother plays drums. My middle brother, I think, played some bass for a while. I've got an uncle who played in bands and played guitar. I've got people who sing. On both sides. I sing. I've been in choirs for as long as I could. I was in choirs, and Star Trek I didn't really get into it until really late. I watched a little bit of Next Gen and Deep Space Nine when it was on the air when I was in high school. Deep Space Nine was just starting up when I was in high school. But I also lived in Chicago in the mid 90s, and we had VCRs that were programmed to only record mom's soaps, and and the Chicago Bulls were winning frickin' everything. So all we watched in our house was like basketball and mom's soaps that got recorded. And then, whatever was on, like Monday nights, I think we watched like Northern Exposure, but like Star Trek was one of those things that by the time I was in high school, I was doing choir, I was doing theater, I was working a part-time job. Like if I wasn't in a rehearsal, I was working, at my part-time job. And so and I worked in a Blockbuster. Of course I did. Because it was the frickin' 90s. So I didn't watch a lot of it, but I liked it, but I just didn't have the time. And then it was getting cast in, my husband tried to get me to watch Star Trek, and I couldn't quite get into it. And then I would occasionally look over his shoulder if he was watching something on a laptop, and I'd be like, oh, hey. I recognized he was watching Enterprise, and the very first episode, one of the first episodes of Enterprise that I happened to look over his shoulder while he was watching it was the episode with my friend that I went to college with, Annie. who most people now might know because she played she played the Borg Queen in season 2 of Picard, and she unfortunately passed away this year.
Sorry
But
to hear.
yeah, she her very first like main TV role was actually on Star Trek Enterprise, and I was like, hey, that's my friend. But yeah, I got into so it was music and then Klingons because I got cast in a Klingon Christmas Carol. So I started watching all the Klingon centric episodes and got super into Klingons, and then I just went straight down the deep end of the pool, and like yeah, now it's like got my Klingon tattoo. I've built a Captain Janeway cosplay, a Beverly Crusher cosplay. Like I
Very
love
honorable.
it.
Very honorable.
I love it. I'm a big Janeway fan.
Absolutely.
So
All right. Well, since we can't talk about season 2, what was your favorite part about working with season 1 and your experience with it?
It was really cool. It was neat because I got to do it from my home. So that was neat. And it was all done via Zoom. Like everybody who was recording was even for the most part recording from their homes if they could, because it was 2021. So, and it was early 2021. So it was still very much pandemic times. And so, probably one of the two coolest things were the Klingon captain near the end of the season that had one of the bigger like speeches was done by voiced by Deborah Wilson. I knew Deborah Wilson as soon as I saw her picture. I was like, oh my God, Mad TV. She was on Mad TV, and I watched Mad TV when I was in college. I was a theater major, so like I loved sketch comedy, and so I was just like, so that was really hard to like keep my cool while I was teaching her how to pronounce Klingon. And I got to give her a really cool line too. It was something about like who has the audacity to like to talk to the Klingon Empire. And so like she had really good pronunciation. I was really excited. And then the other one was Ella Purnell, who was the voice of Gwyn. She had a couple lines of Klingon, and she actually had the first Klingon in the series. She said "Kuvat," and when she like leans up against I can picture the moment in my head. I couldn't tell you which episode it is, but she like puts her head up against the wall and she's like "Kuvat," and her pronunciation, like I got her pronunciation, like I was like, oh yeah, people are gonna know that they got somebody to help with this, like because she got we got the big Q really nice, and she got the TLH sound really good, and they did. But what was so funny was they did it was like a Comic-Con at home thing, I think, where Jerry O'Connell was like interviewing the cast of Prodigy. And so like they had Ella Purnell on, they had one of the Hagman brothers, they had and they had Kate Mulgrew, and I think there was somebody else. But Ella Purnell, they were talking about the fact, they're like, yeah, there's Klingon translators out there and we didn't even know. And so we got this woman to come in, and she like, this is what she does. And like, and I was like, oh my God. And Ella Purnell was like, oh my gosh, she was wicked. And I was like, yeah, Ella Purnell called me wicked. And then she, the day that happened was also it was July, and it was like the end of July, and Kepa was the annual Klingon Language Institute Kepa was happening the same time, and so I'm on the Discord server for Kepa, and all of a sudden people are like, did you hear they they're talking about there's Klingon and Prodigy, and they said she, and so everybody thought it was my friend Robin who did all of the Klingon language for Discovery. And so Robin was on the call, and they were like, Robin, did you do what'd you do? What'd you do? And she's like, I have an NDA. I can't talk about it. And and in the meantime, I'm like, just go on mute. Keep your face very still. Turn off your camera and go and just walk away. Because I also had an NDA. So I'm like, I can't talk about it. So yeah, it was really funny. So everybody thought it was Robin who did it until the episode finally aired, and I was like, it was me. I did it. I did the thing. So yeah, my favorite character in Prodigy is Rock Talk. Also, I thought that Rock Talk had one of the best episodes of the season. It was the episode where there's like a time dilation bubble thing. And so Rock Talk is stuck in a faster timeline than everybody else. So everybody else thinks that only like a minute has passed, and Rock Talk has had like years. And it is the sweetest, most heartbreaking. She's like all by herself and teaching herself how to keep things and trying to like get back to her friends. It was so sad of an episode. You're absolutely right. But it was such a beautiful episode, and that was the one for me that like sealed the deal on Rock Talk. She's so sweet and has such a big heart, and I just love that. Yeah.
What was the hardest part about doing all the translations and I guess helping the actors or actresses do the lines in Klingon?
The pronunciation was the easy part. The translation was the hard part. I'm one of those people where like I'll translate something and then I always get somebody's opinion on it, and just to like make sure that I haven't, missed like a finer grammar point or something like that. And I couldn't do that. So
Neither
like,
one is easy.
Pardon?
Neither one is easy.
Right. The pronunciation for me is the easy part. The translation is the stressful part. And so I was so worried about getting something wrong. And there was like this really big speech actually, that I translated for one of the last episodes. I think it was actually like episode 19. I did a big I translated like that whole speech. Like Gwyn is like, she's doing this whole speech, and in the show, what they ended up doing was we only ended up recording even just like the first couple lines of it in Klingon, because they did this like a camera pan around. So it like starts on Gwyn, and then it's like the virtual camera, whatever. The camera basically like goes around her from behind. And as it comes around, the universal translator, it's kind of like you get the universal translator kicking in. And so then you hear it in English instead. And so we only ended up having to record a couple of those lines, but it was actually like this big long speech. And writers for Star Trek, like people who don't speak Klingon, they will write lines that just don't have an easy translation way to translate them from English into Klingon. And so you have to, there's like this like give and take there where it's like, well, there's really not a good way to say this. I can say this instead, and it conveys the same meaning. Is that okay? So I had a couple of moments there where I would like ask some questions, and then I'd kind of be like, well, a Klingon wouldn't necessarily say it that way. Like it would be a little bit shorter, or it'd be a little bit more abrupt. They wouldn't be as flowery with their speech, So there was a lot of that. So that was the hard part. The translation.
Really.
Pardon?
Good, you're keeping it real. But, what they want is not really translatable, so you're telling them, hey, this is how it is. So good for you.
It's, I mean, it really like they brought me, they at the end of the day I had to tell myself like they brought me in because I know theoretically I know what I'm doing. Like so that was nice. Like, and they were really open to like questions, and they're like, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to let us know, because I actually didn't see entire scripts. I only saw what I had to translate. So every once in a while I need like a little bit of context. It's just like, well, what exactly is happening here, or what is it that they're trying to ask for, or just so that I had an idea of like, are they talking to somebody that they really respect? Are they talking to somebody that don't care? Like, do they not know? So it was very much like there was a really nice give and take, and actually, like, even for what I did for season 2, I actually kind of pushed back on it a little bit, and I was like, are you really sure you want to do this? Because like there's this other thing that's already like really well established, and that would probably be better. And they're like, nope, we really want this one. And I was like, okay. And so like, yeah, it was definitely, there were certain things that I knew where to push and where to like not push, it's like it. And so it's really just like anything, like you have to know where to draw the line, and like, and also where the line's flexible, or where you can like, translate it well enough that it's like, Klingon speakers will understand what I'm saying and why it's worded that way, but like somebody else might not. So, and they won't know the difference. There's very much like that. There is kind of this like laissez-faire sort of like, well, just make something up. And it's like, no, we don't do that. Like, we don't do that. We don't just make up words. Like,
we have honor to Klingons, absolutely.
Yeah. Like, we have an established language. Like, we don't make this up. The creator of the language is still alive and kicking, and like, so.
Oh wow! So, with everything that's happened, and I would very much, and I know you're not, you're trying to make your way here, but I would really love for you to come to one of the conventions here in Virginia, and I mean, just to see you live on stage singing would be an honor. But I mean, just to have you there at either a panel or something like that, we're definitely going to try to keep you posted on that, and maybe we can see about trying to get you in one of these places.
Yeah, This year is actually really interesting. So I have, I've got Tremendicon in Springfield, Missouri later this week. So the 7th, 8th, and 9th of July. The Klingon Language Institute's 30th KEPA is this year. That's July 27th through the 29th. At the end of the month, I'll be at that. That's in Indianapolis. And I'm just going to hang out with my friends for that. Like that's a weekend. It's our first in person in 3 years. So I'm super excited to see all my friends. And then, at the beginning of September, I'm actually going to be in, Canada. I'm going to be in Thunder Bay, Ontario. And, at ThunderCon. I'm super excited. It's like my first like real international convention. So yeah, it's a couple days. It's the September 9th and 10th. So I'll be at that at the beginning of September. My big annual charity event will be in December this year. And so I'm really hoping my goal, I still have to finish one more song from last year's charity event. And I've been like putting off promoting this year's event until I finish that, because it's like a way to keep me honest and like keep my ADHD in check a little bit. It's not working. But next year I'm actually really, really, really like fingers crossed. I'm hoping I'm going to be at Trek Long Island next year, and And then next year, the sky's the limit. So, shoot me a message and let me know what events, conventions you have near you. Because reaching out, like a lot of them book almost a year in advance. And so like the sooner I know about conventions, the sooner I can try to reach out to somebody and try to, tell them, hey, you want me as a guest?
Well, you got another question from Simon here. There was an episode
Melota. That's the piano player. There's an episode of TNG where Worf asks a piano player to sing some Klingon. Do you know if it was accurate or pre-language established? I mean, it wasn't pre-language establishment, but here's the thing. Basically, everything in TNG and really, truly, everything in TNG and Deep Space Nine are what we in the Klingon language community lovingly call paramount whole. It is not Klingon whole by any stretch of the imagination. They really just made stuff up a lot. And so there's definitely a level of retconning that the Klingon language community has tried to do with stuff. Aktun and Melota, as far as we know, that is a legitimate Klingon opera. I would love to know if somebody has gone and actually like fleshed that one out. I think that'd be amazing. I don't do opera. But yes, it's really just the name. I think that they didn't go any further than the names. Like the name of the two characters, Aktun and Melota. Like it's supposed to be like lovers, I think. So yeah.
Wow, man, I'm telling you, I'm just I love having you on here and listening to you, and I'm really sad though, because I thought that we were going to at least get to see a little bit of season 2. I thought
you and me both, you and all of the fans, just absolutely. It was really just. It was crazy. Like when that news dropped, I got a message from a friend because I was like working, and so I wasn't really like, which not to say that I'm frequently on social media during the day, like don't get me wrong, but I happen to not be, and so all of a sudden I get a message from one of my friends that's like, oh my gosh, what the heck? And I looked at it, I was like, I don't know. And yeah, and that was when I like immediately hopped on Twitter and I checked Aaron Waltke's Twitter feed and the Hagman brothers, and I was like, holy crap, yeah, they really freaking did the thing. They canceled us. So yeah, it's like a huge bummer. But like I said, there's the video game Star Trek Prodigy Supernova. You can get it for like everything. It's on PS4. It's on and PS5. I think you can get it for Xbox. You can get it on Steam. You can. It's also available on Nintendo Switch. Super fun. It's definitely a really fun like co-op game. So highly recommend doing it co-op style if you can. Yeah. Go out and buy all the things and show them the love, because that's how it's gonna get picked up. I have a lot of faith that it's gonna get picked up by another service. We just don't know when. But I really think that the noise has so far been really good. So really just keep up that positive pressure and just keep talking about it and keep sharing. And yeah, that's all you can do.
I'm not too good on social media, but Katala can tell me how I can help. So I'll get with her later on and give it a run.
Yeah. Any inaccuracies can be blamed on the universal translator. Yeah, exactly. There's also a lot of blame placed on, that's an ancient dialect.
I have a question too.
I wish my I've got a Steam Deck and or Stream Deck rather, and I'm over here like pushing a button. I'm like, I want my camera to zoom in right now and just be like.
How do you feel about that? What is it? Lower Decks didn't get canceled, but yet Prodigy was canceled.
Oh, I freaking love Lower Decks. I love it. I honestly, I love Lower Decks, and I'm bummed that I get why Prodigy was. Honestly, on some level, it was the newest of all of them. It was geared towards kids. I don't fully know what all the numbers were on it, so like I can't even really speak to that. But it is what it is. I personally this is probably the most negative thing that I will say about the whole thing is that they really screwed up the merchandising for Prodigy.
Yeah.
Just, they screwed it up. This was a property geared towards kids, and it took them way too long to get merchandise out. T-shirts, there were no shirts. There was nothing. There were no toys up until the toys took forever to come out. And I get that was there were some manufacturing things, sure, fine. But I look at Disney and stuff like that. They're selling toys for their movies, and those movies aren't even coming out for a year. And they've already got displays and toys for sale for movies that aren't coming out for a year. Star Trek has historically just been so bad at kids and and toys and stuff like that. They're just bad at it. They're really, really bad at it. And I had thought that because they had Nickelodeon, that maybe that would be better because it was Nickelodeon Studios propping it up, but they just freaking sucked at it. And it was just that, to me, that was the biggest thing. There were so many people who were give me a Murph plushie. Where is my freaking Murph plushie? Why were there no stuffed Murphs? Where was the stuffed Rock Talk? Where was this stuff? Where was a fun little Gwendala's arm thing for kids to run around and wear and goof around with? Where was this stuff? So yeah, give me a science kit. Hell, Give me a little Star Trek Prodigy themed science kit that's just pour some baking soda in a hole. I don't care. But there was just nothing. There was nothing when the show came out, and that they really that was, to me, that's the one thing that I will I won't be shy about saying was they screwed that up. They screwed it up. That was so.
I was going to say, when it comes to merchandising, a lot of shows have been canceled because it didn't sell. Because DC's Young Justice was canceled because the toys weren't selling. The TV show was doing fine, but nobody was buying the toys, so they canceled the show.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but with Young Justice, it was they were losing their demographic. They made it for boys, and then little girls started watching it more, but they don't buy the action figures.
Right.
Well, but they will, and here's the thing is Gen X, I was talking about this with somebody too. We are the generation where our parents told us no on all the action figures. And so why do you think I am sitting here right now with a freaking Klingon skull and a toy bird of prey and a freaking Barbie doll of an Orion slave girl? We were I love toys and I will buy all the shit. I will buy all the collectibles. My people in my age bracket, in the 46-year-old age bracket, we have the kids Heck, some of us have college students. I mean, like I could have a kid graduated from college, like right now, if without having been a teenage mom, like and like like these kids, like these parents, like they have these kids, like they want the action figures as much, if not more than their freaking kids do. Like you just have to put good stuff out there and people will buy it. Like, so I question whether the merch was any good, frankly.
It's good. What I like, I'm gonna buy it.
But yeah, like I love toys. I buy all the toys. It's probably the biggest problem I have right now trying to pack up my house is I got too much crap.
Well, with Star Trek, it's always been problematic with what they have. When they had the JJ verse stuff come out, and then they stopped in the middle of the bridge set. They stopped making, and I had bought it, and then I even called the company. I'm like, "Well, what? I got half a bridge here. What's going on?" And they stopped, and then they went back to just TOS stuff. So I mean, it's really hard to find, like this. We got this at the Walmart, but it's TOS.
Well, like there's some really cool Playmobil things. There's like a Playmobil Enterprise and a Playmobil Bird of Prey, and I saw them. They are incredible. My friends Alan and Chris did the Klingon language stuff for the Bird of Prey because there's like sound things that it does. And because they did that, they actually had two of the first copies of that Bird of Prey toy in the United States, because they got sent like, hey, you did this translation for us. Here, you can each have one. And so I saw it. This thing is $300 though. It's awesome. Wow. It's like this. It's huge. It's like, would 100% pay 300, it like worth its $300. Like when I saw it, I was like, oh yeah, of course that's $300. But also like, give me a toy that's not $300. Like, I'm not going to buy a $300 Playmobil thing to give to a 7-year-old. Like, hell no.
That was never for a child though. At $300. Mm-hmm. That's only for an adult.
Yeah. So, anyway, but yeah, like now is the time. Like, speak with your dollars for Prodigy because the studios out there that are willing to pick it up, they're watching. They're 100% watching. So,
we will do that
and sign the petition.
Yes. Yep. Make sure you guys do. I like I said, it's on the Cosmic Portal. It's in the Proud Warriors of Kronos, Star Trek United, which is our ship and our cosplay group, and in the 757 Geek Fandoms, and of course on my personal Facebook page. You guys, if there was ever a cause to sign up for something, this is it, because this show was amazing. It's
and like Paramount Plus cannot call itself right now the home of Star Trek they can't call themselves that anymore because they just let one of their shows go.
Yeah.
So frankly, that's the other way to speak with your dollars. Like I love Strange New Worlds, and I am not gonna like screw Strange New Worlds over because of of that. But you can bet your bottom dollar that as soon as that show's over, I'm canceling my Paramount Plus subscription.
Yeah.
Like, and then when it's time for Lower Decks to come on or whatever, I'll fire it back up again. But that's gonna be my I will only have Paramount Plus while they're doing Star Trek. And when I cancel it, I will say why. I will fill in that comment field. You got rid of Prodigy.
Well, that's the only reason why I have Paramount Plus is Star Trek. Right. And the moment, like you said, the moment any of that goes, so does Paramount Plus.
I will say, if you're paying for the commercial free version of Paramount Plus, it is so worth the extra 80 cents to watch Yellow Jackets on Showtime. So good. So good. Just pay that extra 80 cents for the Showtime bump and like watch Yellow Jacket and then cancel. But like,
Yeah, I would love to have those out commercials because that the way they put the commercials in sometimes is not in the right spot. So where it ends, then the section starts, then the commercial comes on. I'm like, oh my God.
yeah,
There was a spot for the commercial.
Paramount Plus has a couple of weird things with it as far as like timing and like you can't quite skip correctly. Like, you know, like you choose skip intro and it like puts you 2 minutes past and you're like, rewind. So yeah.
Well, does anybody else have any questions before we go?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I've got one now. If you could sing a song at Worf and Jadzia's wedding, what would it be?
Oh, Love is Battlefield.
Ah, oh, perfect.
Hands down, like, yeah. In fact, I think I'm going to be singing Love is a Battlefield in Klingon at one of my friends' weddings at the end of September.
Oh,
because they do like Klingon stuff. And so, yeah. I'm going to be in Canada twice this year, actually, because
that needs to be on here where we can watch it. Pat Benatar the Klingon, yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
I mean, I discovered her on YouTube, so I mean, she's all over the place. But go to YouTube, and I think it was on Amazon that I downloaded her first album, and I'm telling you guys, I loved it. Back and forth from work, that's all I was playing because you know the song lyrics. So when you're hearing her in Klingon singing it, you know what I mean. You get that translation with it, and it just sounds powerful. You know,
you can get all of my EPs and you can get all of my EPs on Bandcamp too. Like all of them are there.
Look it up, definitely.
So I will put. We got. What is that?
Well, hey, any talk of blues without a mention of Muddy Waters is bunk.
Yeah.
You know who Muddy Waters is?
I know Muddy Waters. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Any blues without Muddy Waters is not blues.
I live in the town of Buddy Guy. Lonnie Brooks.
Very good. Absolutely.
Lonnie Brooks has pedigree because he's got his kid Ronnie Baker Brooks. Ooh, that kid. Well, he's not even a kid anymore. He can play. Yeah.
Cool.
Well,
you definitely honor us with keeping the Klingon fandom going. So thank you very much.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Definitely. And we hope the next time, if you get some time, you'll come back. Because,
Please come back.
Here's hoping that we have some good news before the year is out about season 2 of Star Trek Prodigy.
Yes.
Because I got to tell you, the minute I can talk about what I did for that goddamn episode.
Please come back. Please come back.
I spent as much time translating like that one thing for that one episode as I did everything that I did for season 1, because it was like that, like I could not screw it up. I finished it and I got in touch with Mark Okren to make sure that I did it justice. Like it was, just like, I want to talk about the thing and I can't talk about the thing.
Well, again, it's always a pleasure, and like Jack said, we hope you come back because we love what you're doing. Anything that you're gonna be doing or you're promoting, please let Katala know so we can put it up on the pages, because you're one of our favorite people and we love promoting what you do.
Please come back. Please
On
come
the
back.
show.
So with that, everyone, thank you for joining us here on the Proud Warriors of Kronos with our special guest, the Klingon Pop Warrior. Until next time.
Madram!
Mushroom.
Absolutely. Very honorable.